Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. We have it's a green day. It is a green day. Not a big, not a strong green day. In fact, it's pretty flat. If I had to call it anything, I would say it's more of a flat day than a green day, but we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it nonetheless. So far, April has been pretty darn good. So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Let's just jump right in to the charts right away. Let's get this going. All right. As you can see, we are well above our blue line, meaning that blue line is where we entered in this month. So meaning we are having a green month so far. Today, as you can see, it's mostly been flat. We actually had a little bit of down. We had a little bit of upward. We're finishing the day on in the green. So I'm definitely liking that. So yeah, it's one of those days. What can I say? What can I say? So we are currently up 0.2. So 0.2. We're not up by much, but it is green. We're going to take it. Looking south of the border, the S&P 500, we are having a good month. It is still a nice green month. We're well above the blue line, but today I'm still going to call it flat. We're down a little bit. We're down 0.09%. We can easily, all it takes is a rally in the last 15 minutes, and that can flip right back to the green. As it is, the NASDAQ already in the green. NASDAQ is up 0.40, looking good, well above the blue line. I am liking it. Dow Jones, still having a good month, but a little bit in the red today, 0.30 down. And the Russell, 0.78 down. And I've got to extend their line a little bit. Let's extend that line right now. There we go. They are well above. So we're having a good month. The markets overall are loving May. May is turning out to be a pretty good month. And well, we know why. Donald Trump has sort of backed off on a few of his stuff, a few of his things, a few of his tariffs. That's good. That's really, really good. And we're getting a good month. So let's see if we can keep him distracted with shiny new planes for the rest of the month, and then we can take that green home. Commodities not looking so hot. Gold down 2.19%, silver down 2.38%. And as you guys know, April, gold was absolutely exploding, silver as well. And that was because, well, people were moving their money to gold because it looked like all banana bread was going to hit the fan. And it did. We had some really big dips. But it's looking good. Oil down a tiny bit, 0.97. And Bitcoin and Ethereum down a tiny bit. Now they have been having Bitcoin, crypto in general has had a really good week. But today we're getting a little bit of a retracement. We'll have to see where this goes as we move deeper into the week. All right, let's pull up our heat map. Oh boy, we got a good amount of red in here, but we've also got a few companies looking good, like the railroads. Look at them. CP's up 4%, CNR up a good 1.80%. The banks pretty much flat. They're up a little bit. So TD almost 1%, 0.73. Same for Royal Bank, BMO, Bank of Nova Scotia, Scotiabank. They're up a full percent. So that's not too shabby. But some of our favorites are down a little bit. Like, look at this. CNQ down 1.78%. Of course, with gold being down, Barrick Gold down 2.85%. Not surprising. Most of our food is down. So Loblaws is down, Alimentation Couche-Tard down, Dollarama down, Metro down. Yeah, what can we say? Looking south of the border, we got a few companies having a good day. Tech, basically, and as you guys saw, The NASDAQ was in the green today, and it's showing here on this chart. So you can see Google up 3.60%, NVIDIA up 3.96%, Tesla almost 4%. Tesla's been having well, let's just take a look here. Tesla's been having it pretty good lately. So I think as Elon has stepped away from Doge, it has been very good for Tesla, which is good. I have not heard anything in the news lately of people defacing Teslas. So maybe that is behind them. Maybe Elon can get back to business. Make cars, make some money, make AI, do anything you can, but leave the government alone. Stay out of Doge. So that's what can I say? What can I say? Looking at crypto, as you can see, we got a pretty red day right across the board. Almost everything is down. Bitcoin's down. Look at this: Ethereum down 3.20. Solana's down. Dogecoin is down. Now, oh boy, there are so many crypto coins. In fact, there's like more than 15,000 altcoins. Most of them are what I like to call crap coins, and I like to pick a random one. Now we're having a red day, so let's find somebody doing okay, and we'll grab it. All right, we got Streamflow. I don't know what Streamflow is. It's it's something. No idea what it does. No idea what it's about. Is it about streaming? Could be. I don't know. I don't know at all. But it is worth two cents. So it seems to be doing good today. But guys, there's a reason I call these crap coins, and that's because you're gonna lose your money. You're gonna crap your pants because you lost all your money on most of these. There might be the odd one where you do win a big amount of money. And I said, you notice how I said the word win? Because it's almost akin to gambling. So these are kind of a lot like penny stocks. And honestly, I think I like penny stocks a little bit better. But if you do want to get exposure to crypto, well, stick to your big coins, stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereum, and oh boy, yeah, even the Dogecoin is a lot better than this. All right. Oh boy. All right. Now I'll drag us back. I'm going to drag us back to the TSX for a moment, and let's go big screen. It is time to see what's going on in the chat. We got Stan Gray first in. Hello, all. Ash says, let's go. Mario saying, good afternoon, everyone. Why, hello there. And we got Mark with a hiya. Hiya, Mark. Good to see you. Rory says, afternoon, go Leafs. I actually don't know who won last night. So maybe, did they win? Are they up 3-0 now? I don't know, but I'm hoping. I'm still cheering. I can cheer without knowing what's going on. I really need to pay attention. I'm trying to think. No, I thought at one point it was 2-2 with the Leafs. So are they up 3-2? Let me know what's going on. And we got the Nightbot's in here saying that, yeah, if you guys want a Friday stream, 4 supers are gifted, and bang, boom, we'll get it done. Muggsy is in the house with a hi all. Go Leafs, go. Or, wait a minute, I got another thought. Are we still 2-2 and tonight is that deciding game? To see if they can go up 3-2. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Quite literally last night I was watching. I watched 3 episodes of Andor. So no idea what's going on. Gordo says in Saudi looks like MBS was all methed up. Oh boy. So yeah, Donald Trump is down there in. He's doing a tour of the Middle East. So after the whole controversy over the plane, so those of you who haven't heard, Qatar has offered a $400,000 luxury Boeing jetliner to Donald Trump to use as Air Force One. He's very happy about it. I imagine. I mean, apparently it's got 9 bathrooms. How many planes have 9 bathrooms? Well, this one does apparently, including a shower. So I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like the lap luxury. Apparently, if they get this, if this happens, the plane has to be given to the military first so that they can make sure it is all up to standard for what Air Force One needs to be. And then after his term, it will then be donated to his library. And it's like, why does a library need a jet? I'm not sure. It's like, what? Somebody has an overdue book. They're on the other side of the country. No problem. We'll go harass them in our jet. Maybe. I don't know what's going on, but that's what's going on. But yeah, he is down there right now. I believe he was having a meeting in Saudi Arabia. Um, as he's making nice with all of these folks. What can I say? Gordo says, good thing Trump never drank the Dixie cup of coffee. Jim is in the house with a hi. I am here. And let's see. I heard CNRL is rife with Chinamen. Maybe. I don't know. Nobody's told me. Vic has said, Candace, I'd like to gift you a plane. I'll bet made of paper, but a plane nonetheless. There we go. Actually, funny story. When I was a kid, we used to live on the 8th story of an apartment building, and it was just before school, and Mom brought in all kinds of loose leaf for us, and then left us unsupervised. Well, I came up with the brilliant idea of let's see who can throw the farthest paper airplane from, of course, the balcony on the 8th floor. We spent hours making paper airplanes and throwing them. Like we pretty much used up most of the loose leaf. I'm pretty sure I got grounded, but it was fun. It was nonetheless fun. Okay. Gordo says, oh, the Qatar plane FBI seizure, full stop, save face for those who dislike Saudis. Let's see. Chinese have the inability to think laterally and linearly. It's a racial DNA thing, not my fault. Okay. All right. So, the series is tied 2-2. All right. That's what I was thinking. That. Awesome. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think Edmonton has a 3-0 lead. But I'm not sure what's going on with Winnipeg. Let me know what's going on with Winnipeg, because I know they lost their first game. That's all I know. So let me know in the chat, of course. That would be fantastic. All right, guys, we get the bell coming up right now in about a minute and a half. So it's kind of loud. So if you don't like loud noise, oh boy. Just turn your volume down, pull out your earbuds, whatever it is. Once we get to the bell, I'll try to give you about a 10-second warning. All right. Gordo says, let's see. Clone Wars, Star Wars, and China both represent massive state-driven efforts to produce uniformed soldiers for control and power, blurring the line between individuality. Interesting. I will say this. At least in the Star Wars universe, or at least when it comes to politics, I kind of like it. I find it much more realism when it comes to most sci-fi places. You have these very ideal governments, and government's never been ideal. One of the things I love with some of the government stuff in Andor's, a lot of the mistakes being made from people just trying to cover their butt. I'm like, yeah, that's how government would really go. So, as you know, name a government in Canada. Name any government that has not had a single scandal. I don't think I can't. I'm pretty sure they all have. Let's see. Vic says, "Oh, Winnipeg 1-3. Oh, really? Yikes, Winnipeg. What's going on?" That's surprising. I really thought Winnipeg. I thought they had a real shot. Well, it looks like we may have to pin our hopes on Edmonton, unless Winnipeg can have a come back with 3 more. Please, Winnipeg, let's see what you can do. Mark says Winnipeg is out. Yeah, it's looking that way. Let's see. Edmonton is up 3-1 at the moment. Okay, all right, Edmonton. Don't mess around. Don't let it get to 3-2. Just finish up that series. Get some rest. It is bell time, guys. I was distracted. The market is closed. The market's closed. I was distracted. Holy banana bread. That happens from time to time. And then I'm very good after that, trying not to get distracted. Let's see. Winnipeg lost last night, down 3 games. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, boy. Winnipeg's getting advice from Mitch Marner. Oh, boy. Winnipeg, what is it? What is it? Did Toronto somehow manage to pass on the Toronto curse to Winnipeg or something? I really wanted to see. Now, guys, I haven't watched this. So anybody who's watched this, let me ask this question. Is Winnipeg getting an unfair deal from the refs? Because this is I don't like to get into conspiracies, but I know that the NHL would really not like to have too many Canadian teams in the finals because it hurts their ratings south of the border. Are the refs being perhaps a little more aggressive to Winnipeg? What do you guys think? Let me know. Maybe they're not. And maybe it's just a silly conspiracy, but I'm just curious. I am curious as to what is going on. Gordo says M&Ms originate from rice eaters. Oh, boy. Why is mushroom fried rice the best? Mushroom. Well, mushrooms are good. I mean, mushrooms really work well with rice. So I think that's why. I think it's just mushrooms and rice. They work pretty darn good. All right, guys. I want to take a look at something here. And we're going to bring up, we're not bringing up the Discord, but we're going to bring up, all right, we're going to bring up TMX. So Air Canada, guys. Now, I know we were talking a little bit about it, and I did say, when I said on the weekend that we'd probably see them move up again on Monday, but then after that, they might peter out. And that's kind of what we saw here. So here was their initial movement. And you'll notice they went up on Monday. Like they actually made it to a little over 19. So yeah, right here, here's their high, 1954. So Air Canada made it to 1954. That's fantastic. So those of you who know or don't know, we have within the 0 to 100K challenge, we're running an Air Canada swing trade. So the rules of the swing trade are when Air Canada is under $17, we're going to add basically 10 shares. So 10 shares every month, as long as once in that month it drops below $17, we're adding 10. We did add 10 for this month already. So we're good on that. But we have, we're then going to sell at, I believe it's 21. I think 21 is probably the place I want to sell. So once they get up to 21, doesn't mean I'm going to sell immediately. So basically, once Air Canada has moved up past 21, I'm just going to use like a stop, a limit stop, because what I want is I'm going to, I'll let them ride up. Like last time we did this, and this is our second go around. The first time we did it, we were buying anytime they were under 15 and we were selling at 20. I think I ended up getting close to $21 when it comes to my sale price, because once it got to 20, we did a stop loss. Now, here's the thing that got me. Here's the thing that got me last time, and I think I was being a bit too conservative, but I'm just going to go out 1 year here. So this, our last one, we started it down here, and once it got to 20, I put in my stop loss, and look at how far it got, all the way up to 25. The problem is at 20, I started using a stop loss, and even though this looks like a straight up, there was a little contraction in there. It was enough to trigger my stop loss around 21. So, that though those shares got sold, they got sold. Still a great profit nonetheless. But this time around, Now, so right here, here's my mark. 17 is right about here. So anytime it's underneath here, I'll be buying. And this time here, like I said, I think around 21. Maybe I might even change it to 22. I don't know. But anyway, so when this started happening, now this here happened because they had a great earnings call and they had another good earnings call. So when this started happening, I was kind of like, uh-oh, am I going to get pushed out of this trade already? I wasn't. I think this is as high as it's going to go. I think I don't know if it's going to get back down. I'm hoping it gets. As far as I'm concerned, even if it hung around 16, I would be happy until because I kind of visioned, and I could be really wrong. I was really wrong on this here because I did not anticipate these earnings to be so good. Well, the earnings here, they were doubly good. Not only were they good earnings, they also announced that they're going to do share buybacks. Basically, I believe 10%. They're going to buy back 10% of their shares over the next year. So that's really, really good. So that's one of the reasons that we've got a really good excitement on Air Canada. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping. Like I actually kind of was hoping they would stay around 15, 14, between 14 and 15. I would love it if they stayed that way for about a year, because then I could really add add up a whole bunch of them in the challenge. That'd be fantastic. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, this was kind of a neat little thing, and it goes to show that whole volatility that I've been talking about with Air Canada. And if we go back 5 years, you can see here we have that volatility quite a bit. And that's what I've been playing. So that's a swing trade. It's it's kind of a little plaything that we're doing in the challenge. But anyway, we almost this got me a little bit excited, but not too excited because, as I said, I kind of want this to go for a bit longer. All right. Guy says, hi, Candace. What is your opinion on Alaris? I bought some after hearing good things on BNN. All right, let's take a look at Alaris. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see here. Now, we got a few different things here. I'm assuming you're talking about the Alaris Equity Partners Income Trust. Is that what you were talking about? But we'll go in there. We'll go in there as well. So guys, anytime you see that .un, the UN actually stands for unit. You'll see it, for example, with REITs, with different funds like Canoe, for example. But this is an income trust, and that's basically what Canoe is as well. So you definitely will see it here as well. So, all right, let's take a gander at this. All right, so in the last year, they made quite a bit of movement up, and they've got a little bit of volatility. Here's that what I've been calling sort of like some of that the Trump dent, the Trump dent, we'll call it that. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing there. What do we got coming in for income on this thing? Okay, so it's a quarterly dividend, 7.391%. That's not too shabby. It looks like they're making some money too. 5.51 EPS, earnings per share. Now the nice thing, because it is a trust, I get all of the other regular data as well. Now, I do love this debt to equity ratio, 6%. That's not too shabby. And I love this. Oh, I love both of these. The return on equity, 22.73. Return on assets, 17.53. Yeah, these are good. I like these numbers. Yeah, I don't see anything. There's nothing I don't like about this. There's nothing I don't like. So I think Alaris, yeah. I think it could be a good addition for sure. Vic says, I had Palantir back at $12 and excited to sell at 22. Well, it's $130 today, y'all. That happens. And I'll tell you, if you're an investor, it's gonna happen. There's no ands, ifs about it. You're going to sell things, and then they're going to moon. They're going to do a moonshot after you sell it. It's a normal part of investing. It happens. I always say, here's the thing: don't beat yourself up over it. The could've, would've, should've's. If anything, they'll drive you a little bit crazy. So, what I will say is just You know what? There's always going to be more moonshots. Maybe you miss one. Catch the next one. It's like transit in Vancouver. I don't know if you've ever been in Vancouver, but sometimes the bus won't even stop for you. They're full. They just shut their door and they're like, nope. And that's fine. There's usually another one in another 5 to 10 minutes. So you're always good. Same idea with investing. You miss one moonshot, there'll be more. There'll be more. And here's the thing. I would rather miss 5 moonshots in a row than jump on a shot that takes me into a sort of a crash and burn situation. So there's nothing wrong with missing a moonshot. It sucks, but don't. There's more. There's always more. Let's see. The USSF brings the surface of Titan to your nightly news. There we go. All right. Okay, good. We did do the right one. I kind of, once I get into it, I'm like, yeah, this has to be the one. Also, BNN usually isn't talking about a lot of U.S. stocks. Well, unless you're looking at, well, there is a BNN version in the U.S. I don't know if they actually have a network or not on the air, but let's see. Paul says, good afternoon. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. How is the foot? How is the foot? I know that you were talking about getting back to part-time work. So have you started your first shift yet? And how did the foot go with that? Vic said, what's with all the GCFE ads as the ETF gets a 22% return? I have not seen. I'm actually not even familiar with GCFE. Let's take a gander here. Guardian Canadian Focused Equity Fund. All right. I do not know what this is, Vic. Let's take a look here and see. All right, here we go. Go into the year. All right, interesting. That's not a bad movement to the upside. And there's that. My Trump dent. It's there. I love it. So yeah, let's take a look here. Oh, this can't be what you're talking about, Vic. 22%. Okay, well, maybe it gets a 22% return. Yeah, maybe return overall. You're not talking yield. At first, I thought you were talking yield, but yeah, let's take a look here. So annual dividend, 17 cents. Not a big district. Yeah, it's mostly growth because their yield is 0.559. Let's see, what do they do? Security analysis. Okay, long-term capital growth based on quality. All right, so they're investing in a bunch of security type, let's see, primary bottom-up security. Oh, no, that's what they're doing. They're okay, so they're basically investing in companies that have the potential for significant long-term capital growth. Okay, all right, economic. All right, yeah, okay, I like what they're doing. Let's take a look at their key data here and take a look here. All right, and I'm not seeing anything. And sometimes with funds, I get nothing. So I don't know what's going on there, but I would expect a fund to pretty much be fine. So, I'm going to treat it more like I think I'll treat it more like an ETF opposed to anything else. So yeah. Yeah, I've got no complaints. I have no complaints at all right now about it. I, of course, would probably, before I would get involved in it, I would definitely dig a little bit deeper. So, for example, I'm sure GCFE has their own page. Let's find out. Let's go here. Google GCFE. There we go. Put .to. Let's see here. Guardian Capital Group. Here we go. I always say, if you're unfamiliar with an ETF, you'll want to go to their page for sure, because this will give you a whole bunch of different information. And sometimes I'll find like a lot of the sites, whether it be Yahoo or whether it's TMX, they'll give you kind of the Coles Notes version. But this one here, you can go in and you can read a bit more about it. You can look at some of the facts. You can look at their commentary. And more importantly, you can look at their portfolio. What are they holding? Ooh, I'm liking what they're holding. Look at this. Fairfax Financial right up at the top, 7.58%. Indigo Eagle Mines, yeah, MDA Space, love it. Maple Leaf Foods, Open Text, oh, they've been struggling a bit, but Brookfield Corporation, oh, Element Fleet, Capital Power. Yeah, I'm liking some of these companies. They definitely seem to have a pretty good mix in there. So I, yeah, I'm okay with what they're holding. I'm okay with what they're holding. I mean, you can get all the same with it. There's so many. This is the beautiful thing. Um, there's so many right ways to set up a very well diversified fund nowadays. Or let's just say portfolio. So there's many. You have a lot of different options because, and it's only going to quite literally. ETFs have been exploding in Canada in popularity, and as a result, you'll notice that there's more and more ETFs than ever before. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to keep getting crazier, but one of the beautiful things for ETF investors, this is going to be fantastic, is as the competition keeps getting more and more fierce, what's going to happen? You're going to see more and more. I think you'll see management fees eking down a little bit more, and that's great. That's great. So I think that's going to be something that I think we're all going to be in good shape there. In good shape there. All right. The United States, United States Space Force. I always find that kind of funny. I find that funny. Luckily, there's nothing up for them to really. Well, you never know. I mean, as everybody wants to claim the moon, maybe the U.S. Space Force will end up solving disputes on the moon at some point. All right, Paul says, so I added NVIDIA today. Between May 1st, 2025 and May 14th, Tesla has returned 19.3%, and NVIDIA has returned 14.9%. Basically, Tesla went up more than NVIDIA today. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Paul has been, those of you who've been around here for a while, Paul has been making a lot of plays. He's become a little bit of a swing trader, and he's been very successful at it. Very successful for sure. Let's see. I got back to work part-time on Friday morning. Nice, nice. Let's see. My comment above sold some Tesla to buy NVIDIA. Rory says, watching BCE go back into slump mode always gives me a chuckle. Yes. Well, I was holding BCE in the challenge, and you know what? I was like, I'm going to take a small loss on them, and I did sell late Friday when they were doing really, really well. I was like, yeah, it's not that big of a loss. Let's take it. So yeah, I did get out of BCE because I don't have any confidence. I don't have any confidence right now. Let's see. Musk subpoenaed with JP Morgan's regards to Epstein Virgin Islands. Oh boy. All right. There's the old Nightbot. All right. Gordo says Paco Petroleum spaghetti lines. Let's see. Jo says, are covered called ETFs like NEO's QQQI too risky for retirement, NAV, or capital erosion? All right. So, when you're looking at retirement, so especially if you're looking at creating income, well, you're pretty much going to look, if you want half decent income, you pretty much do have to look into covered call ETFs. And yeah, some of them, depending on the ETF, some of them will have capital erosion. Yeah, absolutely. There are others that are a little bit better. So let me give you an example. Here. Let's. All right, we'll look at one of them, HYLD. This is one that a lot of people like. All right, so this is your Hamilton Enhanced U.S. Covered Call ETF. So, and I'm going to pull up the full 10 years. So this is the whole life of this ETF. So yeah, when it launched basically at the peak of a of a bear market, and it exploded in popularity. So yeah, I always say you can't really look at that as being a big thing, but it plummeted really fast because the bear market just had begun. Quite literally, the bear market began at the beginning of this fund, though it did go up initially and then went down, and it has been moving back up ever since. Now, the reality is, yeah, you didn't get back to where it started, but that's kind of normal. A lot of these funds, when they first launch, they launch at a higher evaluation than where they're really going to be. So I almost will never buy something the second it launches because I want to see it settle. And for me, this is probably around $14. I think is probably kind of where it would have settled if we didn't have a bear market. So yeah, you do have, there's a little bit of erosion per se, but you got to look at it. In this case here, like it's holding covered call ETFs, and then it's using leverage on those as well. So it falls heavier. Like I think it's 25% leverage. So if its underlying ETFs are falling by 1, this fund is going to be falling by 1.25 because of that leverage. But once it goes forward, and you also got to keep in mind, you're getting some pretty crazy dividends. So in the case of this one here, and this is one of the reasons I like this one, because you can really sort of see what happened with this fund. So I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. All the way back. There we are. So when it launched with basically 13.8 cents a month per share in dividends. And even though it was falling, they did raise it up to 14 cents. But of course, as the bear market continued, as we got into, also at that point, we got aggressive rate hikes. It was too much for them to handle at that time. So yeah, that dividend got 2 cents got knocked off, back down to 12 cents. And it went that way for about almost, well, I wouldn't say a year, basically not that long, like 4 months or so, no, 5 months. And then they went back up to 13.8, 14, and oh no, sorry, I was going backwards. I was like, I thought that was longer. So yeah, we got 5. There we go. That's more like it. About 8 months. My mistake. Sorry, clicked the wrong arrow. Then they slowly began going back up again. And you'll notice now they're above where they started at. Well, they started at 13.8. They started here. Now they're up at 14.3 and now 14.5. So they're doing pretty darn good. Pretty good. So why I was bringing up the dividends on this is, well, let's come back again. All right. And we'll go back to the 5 years. So when you look at how far you come down and the fact that you're getting higher dividends, when you take into consideration the dividends, especially now, if you're reinvesting the dividends, then it's no contest. But if you are taking into consideration the dividends, the actual total return is much higher. Now, one of the things that you do have to look at is, if you're looking at total return, so straight up total return, you are going to hands down make more with just the regular stocks. Regular stocks will make you more. Especially in good times. And part of the reason for that is because when you're looking at a fund like this, all of the underlying funds, even though this one doesn't technically use covered calls, the covered calls happen on the ETFs that it's holding. So as we go into a bull market, a stronger bull market, all of those covered calls, what ends up happening is they start hitting strike prices. And when they start hitting those strike prices, they're forced to sell. Now, just give me a second here. The best way to explain that is, of course, with the whiteboard. Here we go. Here's our whiteboard. There we go. I just needed a clean section of board. All right. So and I'll grab this here. So let's say, for example, you're holding a stock in a company. For this example, it doesn't matter. We'll just call it company X. We'll just go with a CX. So your company X, let's say, for example, that company, their stocks goes for $10. All right, so company X sells for $10. So you want to create options, and this is what they do. So basically, they will create a contract. So they'll create a contract with a fixed amount of time. All right, so let's just say it's a week. All right. I need to get like a pen and like one of them Wacom tablets or something. But yeah, so let's say you set a contract for a week, and basically that contract says if the price goes to, we'll say 11. If the price goes to $11, you know, we'll sell it to you for $11. So if it hits $11, we'll sell it to you at $11. That's the way it works. Now, to take this contract, they might have to pay, and let's just say, for example, we'll say that they have to pay a quarter. So they have to pay 25 cents. And this is going to be, now normally this will be in a bundle, so they're not going to do it for one stock. Actually, you can't do it for one stock, but they might do it for 1,000 stocks. So they might do it, so multiples. So let's say in that week, the price peaks at $10.99. Well, what happens is this person who bought this contract, it didn't hit 11. So that money, they just lose. They lose that quarter they paid per share. So that just goes to whoever, the fund. So that's what normally will happen, especially during flat markets or slightly down markets. But if we get that crazy bull market, well, let's just say at the end of that week, holy banana bread, it exploded and went up to $12. Yikes. So what ends up happening is that ETF, they have to sell those shares at $11. So basically, they're taking a $1 loss there. Well, it's not really a loss. It just means that they've lost $1 of profit. So they've lost $1 of profit. Now they still get to keep that quarter, but even though they're getting a quarter for every share, in this case here, that means that they've lost 75 cents of what they could have. That was of upside potential. So what ends up happening is the share price of this ETF. So let's just say, this company, we won't even call it an ETF. Instead of going from, if it was an ETF, well, I kind of need it to be an ETF. So if we had an ETF in that only carried CX, we'll say, yeah, a single ETF that only carries CX. Well, if they, if they were almost, let's just say they were spot, like pretty much a spot ETF. So instead of them getting to 12, which is where the market shows they should have gotten to, well, because of this contract, they only made it to 11 because that's where it's sold. So what ends up happening then is the ETF holding the CX, they have to buy it back. And they're going to buy it back. Well, they're going to buy it back at 12. Now, mind you, they will then do it all over again because now it's $12. They'll write a new contract, maybe for 13. But yeah, so that's kind of that whole thing. But that's how how options work. And you can do this in both directions, whether it's going up, going down. But I probably should have used thicker. I'm looking here. Hopefully you guys can see that writing. I should have used a thicker pencil on this. But anyway, it's fun. It's fun nonetheless. And greetings from Brazil. Yes, awesome. Did you leave me a comment earlier today? Because somebody from Brazil left me a comment, and I was like, "That's awesome." I think it was you because you mentioned the QQQI. So, and here we didn't actually look at QQQI, but let's do that as well here for you. All right, so this here is your NEOS NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF. So this is a US one. The one that we were looking at before was, of course, a Canadian one. All right, so, and this is interesting too. Things are starting to get a bit more, the US is starting to catch on to the ETFs. Like Canada, well, we've been ETF crazy for a bit longer, but the US is starting to get there too. And you'll see, in this case here, 14.421% monthly dividend. Fantastic. It's great. When you look at it, let's pull up the 3-year. So they haven't been around that long, and you can sort of see. So they've been doing good as tech had been doing good. Now they probably could have been higher if you were holding the underlying assets, because remember when I mentioned that whole strike prices, tech had some strength in there. They may have hit some strike prices. Then Donald Trump. Oh boy, this is Donald Trump. His little the Trump rivet, Trump's fang. I don't know. I'm giving it a new name every time I say it. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, are you going to? It boils down to this, and this is how I will always boil it. If you're looking to build a retirement portfolio, if you need that income, so let's say you need that income every month because that is what you're living on, well, then, yeah, you're going to go into things like this. If you don't need the income, you're just trying to build your portfolio, then no, you don't need the covered calls at that point. At that point, you could go with total return stocks, and you could definitely, or total return ETFs. And long term, you'll make a lot more. But that would be more or less if you don't need that income and pretty much you're just building up your portfolio. So that way, there, when your days are done and you want to leave it to, let's say, children or a spouse or something, then you have more that's being left behind. So you kind of got the two different options. All right. Paul says, Candace, good move selling BCE. Usually if a company cuts dividends, the share price works it way down. Remember AQN? I really remember AQN, Paul. And now that it's funny that you brought that up. Yeah, Friday. Friday's video is a deep dive into AQN again. We're gonna revisit AQN. Because here's the thing, guys. Let me show you something. Here. AQN. Whoops, AQN. Here we go. All right, and we're going to look at 3 months. They've slowly been moving up. What's going on with AQN? Do I smell recovery? Well, we're going to find out. Now, if you are a channel member, guys, channel members do get to see videos one day early. So channel members will be able to watch this tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I was looking forward to diving in because AQN, I mean, Algonquin has made a lot of changes, but yeah, they they have absolutely botched a lot of stuff down the road. Serious dividend cuts. They actually had a dividend cut after my last deep dive. If you guys don't remember, that was the one that actually had a picture of a dumpster fire on the thumbnail, because yeah, a little bit of a dumpster fire. But now they've got a new CEO. They've got a more clarified direction. Is that good enough, though? Is that good enough? Well, find out Friday. We'll find out Friday. Andrew Senior TV says, what are your thoughts regarding the holdings in ETF ENFR? Okay, well, I don't know what they're holding, but let's find out. So yeah, very, very, pretty much simple. If you just go to Google, guys, type in like ENFR.to. It's going to bring it up. All right, so let's see here. Here we go. So ENFR, Algerian Energy Infrastructure ETF. All right, let's pull this up and see. All right, let's see here. Let's go to their portfolio. All right, we got sector breakdown. Okay. I'm just looking here. Like I can see pipeline, gas, gathering and process. So definitely very much oil. And let's see what we got in here. Let's see, ET, so energy transfer. We got Enbridge, EPD, the Williams, LNG, DTM. So a lot of these companies I know, there's a few in here I've never heard of. So that's interesting. Let's see here. Kinder Morgan in here as well. Antero. All right, interesting. Yeah, definitely interesting, Andrew. Standard deviation. I love it. All right. I actually love it when a company does come in and starts giving me some of the more obscure things. Um, Not too bad, not too bad. R square upside capture. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Um, here's their returns year to date right now on the NAV. So the NAV means that it's not going to really, this is without dividends. So 6.66%, 1 year 35.43%. That's not too shabby, not too shabby. Yeah, this is one that I haven't like I said, I haven't really looked at them a lot, but this is pretty interesting. Definitely pretty interesting for sure. All right, now let me I just want to take one more thing here. All right, here we are. Actually, it's going to be this one here. All right, so here it is. I think I called it Algerian, but it's Illyrian Energy Infrastructure. But yeah, there's a couple of key Canadian companies in it, which I love. I love that they have that exposure. So Enbridge, TC Energy, but yeah, there's some other U.S. companies that you haven't heard of all of them, but overall, not too shabby, not too shabby. I'm going to go back 10 years. Oh, interesting. But yeah, they have been on a run since this here, by the way, pandemic right here. They have been on a run since the pandemic for sure. And they have they've got a dividend, and it's not a big dividend, like 4.351%. So not bad. U.S. Treasuries on the ladder. They can be good. They can be for sure. Jay says, any TSX ETF that pays weekly dividends like QDTE? It's a really good question. I thought I heard something about that recently, but I don't know off the top of my head. That I don't know. I have to dig a bit deeper, so I don't know about that at all. All right. Let's see. Risk Management 101, Columbia River Treaty, TSX single point of failure. Oh boy. Simple chess on Steam level 25 is the best you need to know what you are going to get. All right. It was you. I thought it was you. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, there's the Nightbot reminding you guys about a Friday stream thingy. Let's see. 12 Ingla Macado. All right. Mary is in the house, everybody. So, you know what that means? I'm going to go big screen for this. That means it's time. It's time to hit that like button because Mary is our official captain of the like button. So hit that like button. It helps the algorithm push it out. I'm going to have some coffee while you guys are doing that. Oh, so good. Very, 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 very good. Super Mario Brothers. Oh, yes, I remember Super Mario Brothers. It's been a while. It's actually funny. So back in the day, 1 year in the fall, I was thinking about getting something for my brother for Christmas. So I picked up what is it? Was it Nintendo or whatever? But I picked up the one that came with the Super Mario Brothers, and it was sitting in my room. I'm looking at it, and then I'm like, I really should test it to make sure it works, because wouldn't it suck if it didn't work on Christmas morning? So I unbox it and I set it up, and I start playing Super Mario Brothers. Well, needless to say, guys, I had to go buy another one because I wasn't about to give up on Super Mario Brothers. I had to save the princess. So, yeah. And that song, I think it'll be stuck in my head forever. You know, the do 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 do. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Let's see. Enbridge is ready to rock, yet Spain rhymes with Maine. Okay. No, Enbridge is a great company. I do like Enbridge. I can't actually, they're probably due for another deep dive sooner than later. I can't remember the last time. Well, actually, all I have to do is a couple of clicks here. I actually have a list of every deep dive and the dates that I've done them. So that way there I can keep track. Yeah, no, it's actually I did them December 20th. I did Enbridge. So they're probably more towards the end of the summer type one for sure. Andrew says, thanks a million, great content. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. You know, I like this is one of the things I love about these live streams. It's like I have no idea what questions are going to be thrown. And sometimes actually I love it when I have never heard of the company. Because when I don't have a clue, then it's like, all right, let's take a look at this. Because it's always fun. It's always fun. And sometimes there's been a couple of times actually, I think, where somebody asked me about a company in the stream, and it's like, after I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I gotta earmark this for later because I gotta check it out. I gotta check it out for sure. All right, and we got a super coming in here from Mary. That of course means that Mary is our goat. Gotta love it. Greatest of all time for sure. Mary Hale holds that hands down. Yeah, so that means, guys, if you guys do want a show on Friday, either 3 supers I've also added as well, like, you know, uh, what is it? Membership. So channel memberships, all of it counts. We'll figure it all out. I always look at it that way. All right, let's get out of my goat screen so I can get back to you guys for sure. So always fun. And yeah, you guys were mentioning earlier about BCE. I want to head in there just for a second and show you guys what happened with BCE. It's actually, I thought it was great. I was really impressed. I was really impressed with this one. Yeah, well, actually, we're fine. So yeah, BCE, of course, had this big thing. And they did explode. So I ended up selling about, I think it was around 330, something like that. So I ended up getting like 31 something, 3150, or anyway, it was crazy. But then of course they went down. I was so glad I got out. I was so glad I got out before the weekend, because with BCE I was like, I knew I was going to take a loss. In fact, let me take a look. How much of a loss did we actually take on BCE in the challenge? Actually, we only took $82.30. So that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. I was happy. I was happy to take that. Happy to take that for sure. It does get them out of my my thing, because BCE, it's kind of one of these things where every time I think they can't go any lower, every time I think the bottom is in, they go out and buy a brand new shovel. They really do, and they just keep digging and digging. So yeah, very happy to be away from them for the moment. Now, mind you, means I've got very little exposure right now to communications, but I'm okay with that. Gordo says, would municipal bonds in Canada work for RCMP, Royal Canadian Air Force? No, the Royal Canadian Air Force is something completely different. And firefighting. That's a good question. That is a good question. Now, at one point, we had you used to be able to get like Canada savings bonds, but the Fed actually moved away from a lot of the bonds. So now mostly corporate, and I believe you can still, in some provinces, you can get provincial bonds and municipal bonds. But yeah, I mean, obviously the funds from that will go to different municipal. Now RCMP, though, I think they're not. I don't know how that funding works on the RCMP. I thought they were more federal funded. I thought they were federally funded. And also the Royal Canadian Air Force would definitely be funded, federally funded. So, but firefighting, mind you, and this is kind of, Gordo, this will probably come as a strange thing, but a lot of places, like if you go to Nova Scotia, where I'm originally from, most fire departments are almost entirely volunteer. meaning firemen don't get paid. They have other jobs and they just carry beepers, and there's a fire. They all head off and drive quickly to the station, jump in the truck. Probably adds a bit of extra time, but you don't find now in the bigger cities like Toronto, Montreal, yeah, definitely. You've got paid firemen, but a lot of places, volunteer firemen is a big thing in Canada. So it's like, you know, I would rather have paid firemen, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they just don't have enough work for a paid fireman to keep them busy. Oh, I don't know. At least in some of the smaller places, big cities, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Thinking F-35 runway development, water resource management keeps New York air clean. Yeah, I can see that. Brian says the dividend cuts at BCE have been a long time coming. Yes. I've been tempted for a few years to buy some, but always decided against it. Yeah, no, I mean, so they cut their dividend by more than 50%. So I can't remember the exact number, but it was slightly more than 50%. It's a good cut. It's a good cut. Uh, it was just, there was no way with the pain that Bell was experiencing. Yeah, Bell has deep pockets. They have a big moat. But you also have to look. You may have a big moat, but do you want to continue paying an unsustainable dividend? And just eventually moats will dry up, right? So no, I think it was a good move. I think it was a good move for them. Now they have, as I mentioned, and I think I did the loser video. Actually, is that the current one? I think it is. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of stuff that was not going right for them. Everything from a lot of their network was a regulator. So the CRTC opened up to some of the resellers, opened up more of the network, and that, of course, that ate into some of the profits, of course, from the big three. In addition to that, you have the 5G rollout, and people are like, "Oh, that's done." Well, it's done in the cities. Yeah, urban rollout's done, but rural. There we go. Say that 5 times while intoxicated. But rural rollouts, those are ongoing. So there's still money that's being diverted to that. The other problem that I think all three, so we're talking Rogers, Bell, and TELUS, is that there's not a lot of places to expand to. They've kind of got the market saturated. So there is that as well. And that's one of the reasons that so Bell recently bought a telecom, I can't remember the name of it, but it was in the US, I think on the West Coast. In addition to that, TELUS, of course, has been doubling down on the TELUS Health, and now they're looking at creating an AI center. You've also got for Rogers is doubling down on sports. They practically own the NHL in Canada at this point. So, that's what they're doing. They're looking at other ways that they can branch out, because right now there's a lot of things that they're losing money for. So imagine, just think about cable television. Like let me ask this question to the chat. How many of you have cut the cable? So how many of you no longer have cable TV? And I will be the first to hold my hand up. In fact, I haven't had cable TV in probably 20 years. I think I was an early cutter. Now, mind you, I was able to get all of my TV shows back in the day. I used to get them through ways I'm not going to admit, ways I won't admit online, but there were ways to get my shows. That's kind of what I did. But nowadays I don't do that anymore because they're all on the streaming services. So. But now it kind of feels like after you pay all of the streaming services, it feels like I got a cable bill again. So what can I say? What can I say? Oh, boy. All right. And, of course, good old Nightbot in there again. Gordo says, let's see, RCMP needs buildings. Look at Kimberley, BC, Victoria Avenue. In BC, the CAF sends people from Trenton. Yeah, now Kimberley, BC, by the way, guys, if you've never been to Kimberley, BC, very unique looking town. So Kimberley, it kind of has this whole German feel to it. Like I don't know if it was settled by German folk at one point, But it has this whole like I could you know, I could see like bratwurst being a thing in Kimberly, but I was there. I was only there once passing through, but I was just like, oh my god, this is the most unique looking town in the middle of the mountains. So very cool town. I love it. It's so cool. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Now, you know, but when it comes to municipal bonds, though, this is kind of it kind of doesn't really, they'll pay for firefighting for sure. Now, yeah, if you have a situation, so let's say, for example, when you have to send a whole bunch of firefighters, um, yeah, there's going to be some kind of a financial remuneration. Obviously, they're not going to pull a bunch of firefighters from Nova Scotia who are typically volunteer firefighters and send them to BC to fight a fire for a month. Obviously, yeah, they're going to have to get paid for that. I don't know how that works. I honestly don't, but I kind of want to look into it now. I kind of want to look into it because I think that was really really interesting. Michael says, let's see. Pfizer crush earnings with 92 was 26 beat with PE of 16 is down from 40. Good old Pfizer. Good old Pfizer. I've always said this. I'm bullish long term on Pfizer. So PFV. Oh, I do have it up. All right, let's go in here one more time. I mean, they've had it rough. Pfizer has had it absolutely rough. Yeah, I don't want to see you. There we go. And let's just take a look at the last 3 years. So it's been one of these. Oh gosh, there hasn't been much to smile about with Pfizer. I want to go back even further. Let's go all the way back to 10 years. I mean, they were doing fantastic. I mean, Pfizer, a lot of people, I think when they think Pfizer, they start to think about the pandemic and the vaccines, but Pfizer is much more than that. I mean, they've worked on so many big drugs through the years. And I mean, this was kind of a fantastic thing. But then the backlash after the pandemic and everything that's happened since then, they've just been on a downward trajectory. And in fact, how far back do I have to go? Yeah, here we go. So they've not been this low since about 2012. 2012. Now, this here is a company, and let me just pull this up here, some key data here. So debt to equity ratio 69%. So not that bad. They're not super in debt. They got a good amount of debt, but they're okay. They still have a good return on equity, 8.64. Sure, I'd love to see that higher. And I think that this is a company that will be fine long term. So if it's a company that you think that you like, I think it's in a good spot to be DCAing in. I can't see them going that much lower. But then again, I said that with Bell, and look what they did. But I think with Pfizer, yeah, I think they have a lot more. I think they actually have a bigger moat than Bell does. So, is BCE a good buy now? a good buy. They might be a good BYE, a good buy. Goodbye, Bell. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. I would wait to see what's going to happen. I have a feeling that when we do get to the low, when we do get to their bottom, I have a feeling they could be there for a while. Now, I do like them long term. I think long term they'll be fine, but you got to have a lot of patience. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to recover anytime soon. I think right now that's a sector that's just a little bit in trouble right now. Yeah. So I would be like, yeah, you get dollar cost average, but you're gonna need patience because you're not gonna see the you're not gonna see your plants sprout probably anytime soon. Think of it as planting very long-term seeds. Jersky is in the house with a hello. Brian says, all right, so no phone or cable for close to 20 years. Highest internet connection only I could get. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I haven't had the luxury of not having a phone, but yeah, not too shabby. Well, I know what you're talking about. Kimberly, you think you were in Switzerland? Yeah, like that's the thing. I was thinking, like I was thinking Germany, but yeah, maybe Switzerland. But I find it really, really cool. I find it really, really cool. All right. Need to float Canadian municipal bonds through New York, Bank of America, paid by car. See this. I don't have that information, Gordo. I've never really looked at municipal bonds that much. I'm not a huge fan of bonds, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Now I do need to do a bond video, and maybe I'll look into that when I do that. Let's see. How do you survive? Yeah, without a phone. Let's see. The Mag 7. Oh, right. The Magnificent 7 are back on top, and utilities are getting beat down again. Good old. I still have a lot of faith in utilities. I mean, utilities should be fine going through the recession. Provided we have a recession. I mean, we probably are going to. All the economists believe we are. The banks believe we are. There's still a sliver of hope, but it's not much. It's not much. Let's see. Paul says, I have TELUS TV with very basic channels and Netflix Premium, Prime, Disney Plus with my 40% off retiree discount. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Cell phone. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, landline you don't have, but you do have a phone. Okay. Yeah, landline was gone with cable. Let's see. Oh, most people don't use regular landline anymore. Even my mom. So my mom had a landline and she was holding on to it because she had the same phone number for like 20, 30 years. And I was like, you can have that ported to your cell phone and still keep that number. So she did do that. But yeah, for the longest time, the only reason she had the landline was because, everybody knew her number. But nowadays, nobody knows numbers anymore. I barely know my own phone number. I mean, it's like, who knows numbers? Let's see, Pfeiffer. Yeah, exactly. They have a huge repertoire of different drugs that they're involved with, and some some of them were revolutionary for sure. All right. All right. Mary says, do you think EQB will be bought out? That's always that good question, right? And it's interesting. I had over on Blossom, somebody direct messaged me, I think it was about a week or 2 weeks ago. And they told me, oh, look at this. Wealth, what do you think of Wealthsimple now that that looks like they're being bought out? And I'm like, what? I have heard nothing about Wealthsimple being bought out. And I, of course, because, hey, sometimes things slip by. I went and I searched. I probably spent about 15 minutes looking for everything I could, and I could find absolutely nothing. But will EQ be bought out? That's always a possibility. I hope not. Or if somebody does, if one of the big six were to buy EQ Bank, I hope they maintain, they keep it in the format that it's in right now. If they don't, oh boy, that would be interesting. But I have not heard of anything yet. Now that might be something that I just that I might have missed. But in regards to Wealthsimple, going back to what I had heard from somebody direct messaging me on Blossom, the only thing I heard is Wealthsimple saying we will never do that. So, and they were reiterating that I think about a year ago. But things do change. And if somebody gets offered enough money. If somebody gets offered enough money, everybody has a price, probably. Jay says, thinking of buying Mix ETF from Hamilton versus ZSP in these volatile economy. Yeah, Mix. I love the name of Mix. I think that's fantastic. Now, one of the things I also like about Mix, is it's a little bit of a different ETF. So for one, I believe is it 20% of it's in gold? So they're holding like gold and, a few different things. So I think they've got a good diversification, and you're getting a little bit of course, your fixed income in there as well. So yeah, I think Mix is really an interesting one for sure. All right. Brian says, my sister keeps her landline north of Huntsville because Sometimes she has to stand in the middle of the driveway to get one bar on her cell. She is 8 kilometers off Highway 11. Now, as soon as you say Huntsville, I'm thinking Alabama. That's what I'm thinking of. And I'll tell you why I'm thinking Alabama. I know you're not talking Alabama, but there's a Huntsville in Alabama. I actually went and spent Christmas one year in Montgomery, and Huntsville was pretty darn close. I remember, I think passed through Huntsville to get to Montgomery, but yeah, exactly. See, Gordo, Alabama. So yeah, Ontario, Huntsville, Ontario. Interesting. Yeah, I guess everybody's mind goes to Alabama. Maybe not everybody, but my mind goes to Alabama. Whoops. Let's see. Black fly and mosquito country. A lot of trees and lakes up there. Oh boy. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of black flies or mosquitoes, to be honest. Some people, and this is kind of a strange thing, but I find some people can be fine. They can get bitten, and they're fine. Me, I get bitten and I'm just nothing but I'm like a giant walking itch when I get bitten. So I'm like, no, I don't like it. NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, located on the U.S. Army Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. It's a pivotal hub for space exploration and research. Yeah, exactly. Like Space Camp. I think, yeah, they have Space Camp there as well, I think. And why do I think they have a giant peach somewhere in that area too. I kind of remember a giant peach, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong for sure. All right, Nightbot again. Yeah, we do have one of the four. So guys, you got a few minutes left. If you guys want to get a Friday stream. Last week I actually forgot. I forgot to turn Nightbot on. So you guys got so I gave you the Friday stream anyway, because, it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. Gotta like it. So coming up this week, I did mention as well, we're going to revisit Algonquin. So we are doing another deep dive at Algonquin. We're going to look and see, is their recovery for real? Is it time? Is it time to start bringing back that investor confidence in Algonquin? I don't know. I don't know about that, but we'll look at it. We'll look at what's going on, and we'll see if Algonquin is finally back. I know if you guys go all the way back to around the start of the pandemic, Algonquin was a go-to. They were a go-to back then. A great dividend. Just a fantastic little company. So I think a lot of you guys, if you guys have been around back then, I bet you probably had Algonquin. Maybe not all of you, but I imagine some of you did. So, but they've lost so much investor confidence. So it's time to take a look. It's time to figure this out. All right, guys, if you got your last minute questions, it's time. It's time to get them in there. Doesn't mean we're leaving right away. Depends on you guys. If you got a lot of questions, we're here a little bit longer. That's the way it works. Let's see. I thought you were talking about the park at first. The park. Oh, you mean with Huntsville? With Huntsville in Alabama. Oh, yeah. Never heard of AQN. But you're, Rory, correct me if I'm wrong, you're fairly new to self-investment, so do-it-yourself investment. So yeah, they fell. What was it, 2021-ish? Let's take a look. Let me take a look here. AQN, I think it was between 2021 that they started their big slide. I'm going to pull up the 5-year. Yeah, pretty much here, 2021. And that was, of course, the bear market. So they slid through the bear market, and yeah, then big time for sure. Yikes. Argentina, Mendoza Reds, Kelowna. I love Kelowna. I actually lived in Kelowna. Well, technically, I lived in West Bank, which is basically you go across the floating bridge, and then it's another little community there. So I like Kelowna. Other than, I will point out, Kelowna is pretty much a retirement town. Like, quite literally, there's pretty much no light life there. Everything shuts down pretty soon, pretty early in the day. So yeah, Kelowna. Now, mind you, you got you do have the Ogopogo monster if you're lucky enough to see. I never saw the Ogopogo, other than they've got a statue on the water, well, the riverfront, well, lakefront, sorry, on the lakefront. Sometimes when you look at that lake, it's big. It's a big lake. It almost is like a really long river. But anyway, it could be interesting. All right, Rory says no, never owned Algonquin. Cowboy is in the house. Afternoon, all. Hello, Cowboy. How are you? AA says I have AQN and I am 60% down. I keep it as a reminder of my stupidity. So here we go. Investor confidence lost for sure. So hopefully something happens for you. Hopefully. A Parkland takeover bid. Could it be blocked? Yes, it can. The government does have they do have a play, but I don't think they're going to do it. Most people think they're going to let it happen, but it is a possibility. Brian says, I have a lot of stocks like that intro, the 80 and 90% loss. Those pot stocks. Oh, yes. Weed MD. I think a lot of people, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, with the legalization of marijuana, everybody I knew thought that they were going to be stocks that were going to absolutely explode. Well, they certainly did go up in smoke, but they did not explode. The only I got caught in that mess as well. But I got lucky. I was on the air. I was well, not on the air per se, not streaming, but I was watching the charts one morning when Wall Street Bets started to pump Weed MD. And I watched it start to fly up, and it flew up, and I'm like, I'm getting out once it's profitable, and I did. Now, interestingly enough, I ended up getting out near the top. I put in my order, and by the time it was processed, it was near the top, and then pretty much right after I got out, the entire thing crashed again. So I was like, I might have been one of the few people who made profits off of Weed MD, but I took it definitely. TLRY, oh boy. Who is buying Parkland? What is it? Sunoco from the US? Cheech and Chong, up in smoke, funny one. Yes, good old Cheech and Chong. You never hear about them anymore. Are they even? I don't even know if they're still alive. I think they are. But let's see. I had a company that I liked, but TLRY bought them out. Okay, fair enough. I refuse to buy anything that Wall Street Bets talks about, including Reddit. Yeah, no. I mean, it's dangerous to do it. I was already in it, and then they did their craziness, and I was just like, okay, thank you, and got out. So chances are, if when it was exploding, if you were buying in, you probably would have got screwed. Unfortunately. Let's see. Fairgriff Park was chairman of the Calgary Stampeders, cut his kids out of his will. Oh, I don't know who that is. Let's see, Jay. My HHIS stock was down 4K, and now I'm just down 900. So I'm glad I bought the dip. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as tech does better, HHIS is doing fantastic right now. So they're, but keep in mind, they're an income stock, right? You're not buying HHIS to get massive capital gains. I mean, you're buying it to get that. Wow, what is it? 25% dividend. So not too shabby. Let's see, 80s and 90s in Calgary on Electric Avenue created 2 generations of cocaine users. I remember, I heard of Electric Avenue. I think I walked on it once in the daytime, but, I heard of that. See, I bought and sold AMC 4 times and made money, but man, it was dangerous. Oh, yes, absolutely. And see, my HHL is down lots. Yikes. Yikes. Oh boy. Yeah, it's a sometimes it's dangerous. Sometimes it's dangerous. I'm waiting for the next GameStop drama. Yeah. Well, last I heard, and I'm pretty sure I heard that GameStop was going to start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So who knows what's going to happen there? Um, but yeah, HHL. That's what is that's is that the healthcare leaders? Is that I'm thinking that that's what we're looking at here. Let's see here. HHL. Yeah, the Harvest Healthcare Leaders Income. There we go. Close that. I don't want to see your ads. But yeah, let's take a look here. Oh boy, yeah, they're down quite a bit. But that's a problem. Healthcare has had such a horrible year. Yeah, as long as now, right now, their yield isn't actually that great, is it? It's only like 9.953%. I'm kind of curious here. Let me take a look. I get worried when a sector is doing so badly. I get worried, like, are they going to cut that dividend? Now it's only 6 cents. Actually, it actually went up. It used to be 5.8 cents. So hopefully, I think the dividend's probably safe. Healthcare will rebound eventually, but while there's all of this craziness going on, like a company like HHL, I imagine they're holding a lot of those U.S. companies, and right now they're suffering. They're suffering under the current administration. Even Life is down from Evolve. Yeah. Bank's doing good though. Bank is doing okay. They've been slowly creeping up a little bit. Let's see. TELUS is a fun one for dipping. What are your thoughts on what seems like hundreds of new ETFs all the time? Too many, and some may tank. Who's buying the covered calls? That's a thing. We're going to see a lot, and my thoughts are: don't be wary of newer companies. So if it's a company that has been around for a while and has a proven track record, so Evolve, Hamilton, Harvest, Global X. You're probably safe, but keep in mind too, when you've got a brand new ETF, we don't yet know how that ETF is going to run. So, if you're jumping in the second a new one pops up, just be careful. Be careful. I always say, and this is kind of, well, you guys know, we looked at HYLD the other day. A lot of times there's an extra popularity at the beginning of the life of an ETF, and it's gonna push that price up. It's gonna be sort of almost an artificial spike. We saw that with HYLD. And I always say, let that happen before you get in. So don't get in right away. Let that happen. Get in when it does retract. And then you're going to be in a better position. And you're not going to be one of these people who bought at the top of a hype peak and, are watching your thing be in the red for, well, forever. I mean, if you bought HYLD at the top of its peak hike, it's not going to get there. It might get there eventually, but after what, 4 years, you'd still be in the red. You'd still be in the red. Ricardo says, good afternoon. ESP killed earnings and keeps going. Very happy the U.S. is spending on armed forces. So yeah, ESP, and we've mentioned these guys a few times here on the channel. So all right, and this is the U.S. one here. So this is the SB Manufacturing and Electronics Corporation, and they've been doing really well. Look at this; they've got another one of these. But keep in mind, if you're looking at this right now, look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. We got a high retraction, high retraction, high retraction, high. I have a feeling we could see another retraction if it continues this. Now, keep in mind, just because we have a pattern, a very visible pattern here in the charts, doesn't mean that it's going to continue in that pattern, because that's kind of the way technical analysis, things will move in a pattern until they break out of that pattern. But right now, odds are telling me we're probably going to get a little bit of a retraction and then maybe another bump. So if you're looking to get in on this one, I mean, do your own due diligence, but I would almost say, like, take a look here. This is, you look at the timeline on these, as it tends to be here, 2024 to about 2025. So yeah, so it looks to be like maybe 8 months you probably have. So just something. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Holy banana bread. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here we are. ESP. Sorry. I should have had ESP to know that I wasn't sharing my screen. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. High retraction, high retraction, high retraction. And what I'm saying is high, we're probably looking at a retraction if it maintains this. Now, if it breaks out of this, then yeah, it could, I would have to actually run technical analysis on it, but it could either explode up or explode down or really explode down. So there's a few different things that could be happening, but odds are right now it's probably going to retract. It's probably going to retract, but could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Brian says, yes, I have this for, but they only seem a lot lately. I did buy oily. I like this. I love the name. Like, look at this. Oops, I put a P in there. Oily. So this is the Evolved Canadian Enhanced Yield. But here's what I want to look at. Let's just go to 6 months. Remember how I said, don't buy the second it releases because you get a hype bump. Here's that hype bump right here, and then it will settle. It will settle. So if I wanted to get in on this right away, I would let this happen, and then I would see what happens down here. And I probably would have been buying in this area for that simple reason. So you will see this new ETF, Mix. That was another one. That was another one of the new ones. Let's go to Mix. All right, and let's pull this up here now. This one's a bit of an exception. Look at this. You had a little hype bump, and then it went down. That is that hype bump, but then it exploded after that. Look at that. Fantastic. And now it's sort of retracting a bit too. But you'll always find this a little bit of this. In some cases, this is kind of interesting. I actually kind of like the way that this has happened, but that's Mix for you. And that's the one that holds gold as well. So nothing too shabby about that. Let's see. In SQL management, what is that? SQL or panda bears are horrible things. I'm not sure how. I don't know what that means, but I do know. I'm familiar with SQL. Cowboy says, not an ETF fan. Too many fees to suit me. Yeah, fair enough. And here's the thing. If you are not, if you've got lots of time and you don't mind doing all of your due diligence and your fundamentals on companies, long term, you'll make more money. You'll make more money than you will by going with covered calls. But you are foregoing a lot of that income. Or you could. You could if you really wanted to get into options and do it yourself. But don't always recommend it. All right, let's see here. Trying to get caught up here. I only paid $8.72 for oily. Not too shabby. Let's see. See how HVOI is doing since it came out, please. Sure. All right, so HVOI. So this here is the Harvest Low Volatility Canadian Income. So Harvest had this one and HVOL as well. So we'll just go to the 3 month because they're brand new. So yeah, this one here, here's that bump once again, the hype bump, and then it goes and does whatever it's going to do. But you'll notice you still get that. That's very characteristic at the beginning. But yeah, no, they've been doing fantastic. Look at this. They've 1225 to 1263, not too shabby at all. All right. Let's see. I still can't figure out with only 10 digits. If I have 3 fingers and take one away, it's infinite. I have no clue what you're talking about, Gordo, but that's fine. I don't need to know. All right, guys. We've hit the end. It is, there's one. I do want to grab this. I want to grab this one before I go. ASST, and that's the one that exploded, and I had said to be careful with it. And all right, let's pull it up. We'll pull up the 1 month. So yeah, here it is. So it started to explode, and I think right around here, I was like, this is gonna, it's ripe for a retraction. Now it didn't. It kept on exploding again, but now we got it. Now we got that retraction. So you want to be a little bit careful with this. Now, mind you, if you did buy down here and it's retracting, you've got the opportunity to get out. But this one still could be interesting, and depending later in the year, if we do get that Bitcoin, the all-time high that I was envisioning before we got to a crypto winter is about 120K. If that happens, that could be good for this one. So this is kind of one of these ones where if you did get burned in it, you might just be able to sit it out, wait it out. But I mean, obviously, a lot of times when people get burned, their first instinct is to just get out, take the loss, run, lick the wounds. But this is one that I think has a potential to get back into it. But, if you're looking at short-term plays, yeah, you got to be wary of stuff like this for sure. All right. And Cowboy says, I try to have the majority in monthly dividend stocks. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I do. And that's the thing. I mean, there's nothing like waking up in the morning and getting that notification in your email saying that you got dividends. It's like the AOL guy saying, you got mail. But in this case here, it's you got divvies. I love it. I love it. What's your opinion on oil growth now that Carbon King is in charge? Well, the thing about oil growth is the Canadian government doesn't even play that big of a role in it. It's more the geopolitical, the geopolicies of everything from the U.S. to OPEC. Those tend to be your two big drivers. Now, when it comes to growth country-wise, infrastructure, if Carney keeps his promises and works on getting some of the infrastructure that we need, so we're talking refineries, we're talking a west-east pipeline, I'll be happy. I will be happy. I want to see this. So far, he's still talking the talk. So he hasn't yet sort of waddled back from that talk. But if he does, I will be the first to call him out. I will be the first. I will get right up in the front line and I'll be like, nah, you can't do that. So just something to keep in mind. Oh, I should probably pull this up. If I'm going to go, nah, you can't do that. And I probably should be large screen for that. So, all right, guys. This has been another fantastic stream. Keep in mind, we got the AQN video coming out for the end of the week. And we will be back here live on Sunday for this week. It is... it should be good. It should be good. And so far, it looks like, guys, spring has finally settled in. Unless you live up north. I heard there was a blizzard hitting like northern Quebec and I think up around Churchill and areas like that in Ontario and Manitoba. So I'm like, all right. But for the most part, we're finally here. Today it was hot and humid. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So we should be good. So we'll be back here again on Sunday. It'll be a great day. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And hey, if it's hot where you're at, maybe have a barbecue. Nothing wrong with a good barbecue. Until then, guys, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.